Good night, everybody. Once again, welcome back to Nita's channel. Once again, welcome back to Nita's channel. Now, like I always say, I don't normally post on the regular like every day, but whenever I do have a spare time, I would normally post something. So tonight is actually September 4th. Can't exactly tell us what time it is, but it's September 4th, 2021. Okay, and like I always like to say, welcome. Welcome to Nita's channel, everyone. If you are new here, if you are first time viewer, if you like what you see, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let's grow this channel together. Help me grow this channel together. Let's do this together. Okay? But tonight, I have an interesting topic that I want to talk about. And the topic is, drum roll please. The topic tonight is going to be on miscarriage. Okay? That's what the topic for the night is going to be on. Now, like I tell you guys, this channel is all about biblical stuff because I love the Word of God. I love God. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for Him. I'm not saying that this is where I'm at, is where I'm trying to stay. No, it's not. I have a lot more growing to do and a lot of things that I need to accomplish. But I'm just giving God thanks, and I'm so thankful for where I've come from to where I'm at now. Okay? And for persons who have just started viewing this content on my page, like I say, my channel is all about biblical stuff, fun stuff, adventure, and my lifestyle. I keep it real here. Okay, so it's not no play. You may be looking for some fancy edited video. I'm not to that stage yet where my videos are so professionally put together, but I do my best to bring it to the table for you guys and to share information with you. You know, I love talking to you and put my voice out there for everyone, just to have something, you know, what it is, something caring to look up to, something fun to listen to, and just giving you some adventure of this young lady here in the 242. That's where I'm currently from, the 242. Basically an island girl. Grew up on an island for a portion of my life. Then came into the city, what they call the city. New Providence, Nassau, Bahamas. Okay, so let's drift back on the topic. So the topic for the night is miscarriage. Now, I don't know what you went through, how your experience was, but tonight I want to share my experience with you. Yes, my experience. Many don't know that I actually was pregnant twice, not once, twice. You know, it was the first time was before I had my son. My son is now 5 years old, and he's gonna be 6 next year, God's will. But before I had him, I had a miscarriage, and it wasn't like years before he was put into place. I know some people be like, "Oh, why are you sharing your story? This isn't me." You know, a lot of people go through a lot of things, and I want to bring myself to the world, to people, to open up to people, because a lot of people go through stuff, and sometimes they want to hear things. Sometimes they want to hear things as to what they've been through, and they want to know if anyone else went through what they went through. Because a lot of people feel as if miscarriage just happened because either your body isn't stable enough to carry a child, which is so not true. You know, being pregnant for the first time, I didn't know anything really. about pregnancy. I didn't know. But when I did got pregnant, I wanted to have a kid. Both times that I have gotten pregnant, I wanted to have a child. The first time wasn't successful because I didn't really know everything as to what it needed to know. How you supposed to, at least I was taking care of myself the right way, yes. Taking my prenatal vitamins, yes. But pregnancy is more than just taking your prenatal vitamins. And it's more about you taking care of your body on the outside, that it can comfort what's on the inside, you know? And I used to work this um, job at the airport. The company I used to work for was Note Toys, you know? And it was a job that you worked on the outside of the airport, that you would have greet tourists that comes to take that tour bus to the hotel. I know a lot of persons, if you are from wherever in the world and you would have visited the Bahamas and you would have caught that tour company bus, which was Dano's tour, give it a thumbs up. Comment and tell me how was your experience, you know? How was your experience with that tour company? I would love to know, as I no longer work for that tour company, and I don't think that tour company is actually fully in operations right now, how it used to be back then. But I used to work there. When I first got pregnant, I was working on that job, and I was about either 3 months, almost 3 months pregnant. I had to been almost 3 months pregnant. Either almost 3 months pregnant or 3 months. Because normally when you find out you were pregnant, you normally 2 months. So I had to been either 3 months pregnant or almost 3 months pregnant. You know? But I think it's probably was almost 3 months. So not quite 3 months. I think it was, just trying to think, it might have been, yeah, almost 3 months. Let's go with that, almost 3 months. And I was working the night shift, you know. I had on my work t-shirt, and I had to work late for some reason. I think I was on a late shift. I was getting off 12 p.m. that night. And I think you worked from, it's 2 to 10. 2 to 10. Either I was working from 4 to 12 maybe. I think I came on from 4 o'clock, but not quite sure that it was 4 o'clock. It might have been from 2 to 12, even though it's an 8-hour shift, which is 4 to 12. But I believe I might have been from 2 o'clock to 12. But I didn't, yes, I stayed exactly 12. And this was around, I think, January-ish. Yeah, January-ish or early February. I think it was early February, like between February, either February 1st-ish or January 20, not 20 nothing, January 30th. It could have been between that, but it was that night, and I was working from that evening. I've been fine. Nobody knew I was pregnant. Nobody assigned to nobody. The only person knew I was pregnant was my child's father. He was the only one who knew. And I told him not to tell anybody, and I didn't tell anybody. The people on my job was like, "Oh, your little belly look like it's growing." I was like, "Oh, yeah." That's all I was saying. You know, you look pregnant. I said, "Y'all, why y'all don't stop it?" You know, my little small booby was getting rosy. It was getting rosy. I still ain't paying that no mind. But the thing about it is, I was working a night shift. I know I was pregnant. I normally would wear my work shirt. I don't like to wear undershirt. And I did not know undershirt on that night. I didn't know undershirt on that night, but it so happened that that night was kind of chilly. As it began to get cooler that night, my body began to get cold, and I had no undershirt on, and I got no sweater, and I didn't bring a sweater that night, and I was cold, you know. And you know what it is, you're sitting outside, sometimes it be drafty and cold, and by the airport on the outside when it's cold and you out there, it's drafty, ain't nothing you could do, no shelter unless you go in the airport. And inside the airport be cold too because they have an AC, but at the end of the day I work on the outside of the airport, so I can't be just sitting in the airport. Even though you would have some tall workers, at night you may take the time to say, you know what, if flights coming in, let me sit inside the airport and wait until my guest time that I'm waiting for arrives, And there was me and this me and my other colleague was there. The bus drivers be lining up out there at night, and at night we normally only have like one driver, sometimes maybe two at night. If there's a big crowd coming, like earlier that night, you'll have a couple buses, maybe like 3 buses. And as it get later, you probably only have one bus sitting there. And me and my colleague, I think it was Mr. Marshall, we were on that night, and my body began to get so cold, and I started to get the chills. And I said, oh man, this ain't good. And I was cold, and I was trying, and I said, oh no, I have to protect. I had a one little vest. It was a short sleeve vest. It wasn't nothing really to say cover my belly or to warm me up. So I said, oh boy, when you think I could do, let me go in this bus and try to see if I warm up myself. So if I go on inside the bus to try to warm up myself, but when it's actually cold, ain't nothing gonna warm you up unless you get on some heater or something, and I was literally cold, and I had no type of protection to say keep my body protected. And one thing is, when you're pregnant, you gotta take care of your body. When I say clothing wise, if it's night from the drive, you gotta make sure your head is covered, you gotta make sure your body is covered, make sure your body is warm so that you can protect the fetus inside of you, but I wasn't thinking like that. I didn't think, being cold or whatever could affect the kid inside you going. And because they wasn't so far along, that happened. And the thing about it is, most miscarriage happen in early stages because you weren't there yet. So you have to be so very careful in the things that you do, because any little thing could cost you lose your kid. And as for that, being up there in that draft, and I'm a slim lady, no type of nothing to come warm me up. Everywhere was basically cold. In the airport was cold. On the outside was where I stayed in that draft was cold, and all I felt was my body getting so cold, and my belly was trembling. I said, oh no. So I needed to go into the restroom, and I felt my stomach starting to like a little crump. After a while, I felt that. I went into the bathroom to say, let me go pee. And when I pulled down my underwear, I'm a lady, yeah, I wear a panty shield, and we as females, yes, we wear panty shield to protect our underwear from whatever, just keep it comfy underneath there. And when I went in the bathroom, I looked inside, my shield was blood, and I was like, I'm pregnant. So I know you don't see your period when you're pregnant. And the only thing I could do in that bathroom stall, I was so if y'all see a little test on these little emotions, I was so scared. Scared was one of the words. And I was so disappointed, because you watch stuff, whereas okay, they say if you're bleeding once you're pregnant, something happened. And at that hour of the night, Ain't no clinics open. Only place open is the hospital. And I think it was after 10. It was after 10 o'clock that night. And normally when um if the last flight comes early, we would leave before 12. So I think it was after 10, almost 11 o'clock. We left from the airport, I think 11:30 that night, because the last flight I think was Delta or JetBlue. One of them was the last flight for the night, and the flight that came early, and that was good. So we ended up leaving after 11:30ish to head home. Me and Mr. Marshall. I drive, so I didn't have to catch the bus. I normally would go in my vehicle after everything finished and go. You know. So I was in the bathroom stall, and like I said, when I looked down and I saw blood in my shield, I was scared and I was disappointed, because it's like I know what might be happening, and I know people say in pregnancy you have a spot in, whereas it could be implantation bleeding, but over 2 months in the pregnancy, it couldn't be no implanting bleeding. So I might have thought it was just a little light bleeding. So it wasn't heavy, it just was light. So I did what I did in the bathroom. Once I was done, I pulled up my underwear, pulled up my pants, washed my hands, and I came out of the bathroom. I went back out, continued to work the shift until it was time to get off to go home. And I was still cold, you know. I did my best. I kept my hand around my belly. And I was like, Lord, in my mind, I was like, Lord, please, please don't let it be. When I reached home that night, I acted as if it wasn't nothing, because I didn't want it to be nothing. When I reached home from work, drove home, parked my car. My child's father was sleeping. Yeah, this was our first child we were having together, so we didn't have no kid yet. This was the first one. He was sleeping. I bathed my skin and I went. I know it was a little sporting, so after I bathed, I put an ex-panty shield in my seat, and I went to bed and I lay down, and I just tried to play it off and act like it was nothing, and hoping that the little light bleeding would stop. As I was laying in the bed, my stomach started to cramp. Oh my goodness. My stomach started to cramp. And there was nothing I could have done to stop the cramping. I tried drinking water. I tried rubbing my stomach. Nothing worked. I went into the bathroom. This was after I bathed, put on my clothes and lay down in the bed to try sleep to see if anything would change. It was now after 1 a.m. in the morning. I got up and I went on the toilet because my stomach was hurting. And I didn't tell my child's father anything when I came home, because I didn't want it to be nothing, you know? And when I sit on the toilet, my stomach was cramping. I looked down into the seat. The blood just started dripping, 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 dripping. And when I looked, there was little lumps coming out in the blood. The only thing I could do was get pad. I put on the pad before I left home. That pad was full. I took it off and I had to put on the next pad. I told my child's father, I said, you gotta carry me to the hospital. I say I am bleeding and something is wrong. And he was like, you sure? I said, yes. I said, I'm bleeding. Plenty blood is coming out. something is wrong. And I say, clot is coming out. I was very emotional, scared, and disappointed because I really wanted a kid and I was literally ready, to have a kid. I was ready. And it was so emotional. I know what it is when you say you actually want to have a kid with somebody and that moment happened and it just slipped away from you just like that. It was very emotional to me. He got up. I changed my pad again. I put on 2 pads, one to cover the front, one to cover the back, because how I was bleeding. But when I went to the hospital, normally they don't like to take you if it's not no emergency. They tell you to go to the clinic. So when I reached there, they was like, what happened? My belly wasn't big because, like I said, I was only about almost 3 months pregnant. So over 2 months, almost 3 months, but not quite 3 months. And when we reached there, the nurse said, how can we help? And I was like, I'm pregnant. And I said, I'm bleeding. When I was at work, my stomach started trembling because I was cold, and then I started light bleeding. I said, but now I am bleeding heavily. And she was like, is clots coming out? I said, yes, clots are coming out. But when I was at home, there was just a little clots that were coming out. The time as I reached from home to the hospital, that pad that I had on was soaked. They were full. I tell the lady I'm bleeding heavily. So they accepted me. They didn't let me go home. They couldn't let me go home. They accepted me into the MH. And I had to go into the bathroom again. When I go into the bathroom again, those clots was dropping out like big fists. Those clots was dropping out like big fists. And then I cried. As I was in the female's bathroom in accident emergency, right, that bathroom that is right literally on the ground floor, I cried because I know with that type of blood coming out of me and clots that are almost the size of my fist, blood clots that are almost the size of my fist, just gushing out, I knew something was wrong. I knew I had to lose that baby, but I still was holding on faith. Still was holding on. And as I'm sitting there in the chair, my child's father on the side of me, my pants was bloody. Bloody. I couldn't hold no more. My pants was bloody. I had to purchase an next pad from out of the little pharmacy place in the hospital. Child father going to get it. And when it was my time to see the doctor, all I'm saying is, Lord, let it be. And nothing happened, but with all that blood and all that clot, I knew. And when it was time for me to see the doctor, they send me up. I don't know if they send me to do a scan first, or they send me in with the doctor first. I think they sent me in to the doctor first, and I went in. When it was my time, the doctor called me in, and the doctor was like, I don't even think he said I think. He said, it looks like you have a miscarriage. You lost the baby. And I said, no. I say, I can't lose the baby. I don't think I lose the baby. I said, I know I've been feeling movement. The doctor said you wasn't feeling no movements because it's too early to feel movements. He took his hands. The doctor took his hands. He took his hands and he just gone right up in there. You imagine? Doctor taking his hand. And he pushing his hand in your vagina. Pushing his hand in your vagina. Feeling around. I see up in there, blood just gushing out. He had me laying on this thing, my underwear up, down, and the clot just coming out. Not knowing those clots that were coming out was basically the baby coming out. And the doctor told me I lost the baby. I felt so bad because I was so happy today. I actually have a little me, a little life of my own that I was beginning to create. My child father was so excited. And they said, "Man, talk, so I can. I said, "Yes, you have a miscarriage." He said, "But we send you to do a scan to double check. And if the scan shows that the embryo or whatever it was is not there, we'll have to schedule you to do a DNC to clean out my body." My son's father, we didn't have any kids yet, was in the waiting room, waiting on me. The doctor sent me upstairs to do a scan. And I told him, the doctor said he think I had a miscarriage, but I have to go and do a scan just to make sure. I went upstairs as the doctor was taking a thing, doing it over my belly. The words to hear, she said, "Nothing is there. Nothing is there. Nothing is there, you lost it." I was sad. I cried. I was so emotional. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. And a lot of people still don't know that I was pregnant before I had my son. I had a miscarriage. Nobody knew. It wasn't nobody's business to know. But I went through that, and it was a sad moment in my life. When I came out, and I had to go back in to see the doctor, and the doctor confirmed. He said, "Yes, so it's confirmed. You had a miscarriage. You have to schedule you to do a DNC." I stayed in the hospital. I reached the hospital, must be like 2 a.m. So I stayed there, and I think I did the DNC later in the morning, probably around 11 or 10 or 9, somewhere around that time. In the meantime, I had to sit up in the chair until I had a bed to go lay down in, because the hospital here in the Bahamas, PMH, has limited space, limited bed space. So whatever it is that you need, and if you have to go public, it's always limited space. So I had to sit up in the chair, going through the moment that I went through. And I know a lot of people out there who went through miscarriages. Your miscarriage may have been different from my miscarriage, but I extended to you, share your story under the comments. Let's hear it. Have you had a miscarriage? So when I went back, because I had to walk back over front to let my child father know, he wanted to know what's going on. So I told him, the doctor said, "I lost the baby." He cried. As I was sitting in the chair, in a hospital chair, out in accident and emergency, I never saw a man cry like that. He cried. He sat on the hospital floor, not even in the chair. He sat on the hospital floor and he cried. He cried. He cried. He cried. He cried so much. He cried as if he wanted that baby more than I did. And I truly wanted a kid, and I was ready. He cried. He cried. He cried on the hospital floor. Yep. As I watched him on the hospital floor at 34, and he was crying. I was like, wow. It was an emotional state in my life. I was down. I was mad. I was depressed. And I was like, Lord, you know all things. Because I wasn't expecting it to be what it was. And I said, Lord, you always give your people double for their trouble. And I said, young me, it's not like I had any health issue. I didn't. But just because I didn't keep my body properly secured, working in a job cost me my child. Yeah. And I was sad for a while. Nobody knew I was pregnant, so nobody knew about my miscarriage. I went in around 9 or 10 a.m. earlier that day to do the DNC. All I knew, I was in one room. They gave me some type of medicine or drugs. I didn't know. All I know, I was in one room first. And I know they took me out of that room and they placed me into the next room. I can remember that. And I can remember the nurses in front of me. There was like about 2 female ladies in front of my vagina area. And then there was the other doctor. He stick me with this thing. I knew I was in one room and they give me this thing. When I woke up, I was in the next room. And I said, what? I didn't even know what happened. So that DNC thing, you don't even know what they're doing, when they're giving you that clean out after you have had a miscarriage. You don't know what they be doing because you be knocked right out. When you wake up, you're not going to be in that emergency room. You're going to be in the next room, separate from where they perform that. And it was me walking into that hospital, knowing that it wasn't good, but I was holding on to positivity. But even though I was holding on to that positivity and that faith, the actions of what was happening couldn't change the accusation as to what was going on, the reality as to what was going on, that hey, I've lost that baby. And I had an appointment, next appointment scheduled, supposed to have been Thursday the 9th of February 2015 at 8 a.m. I never made it to that appointment. This here is my first pregnancy card. I don't know if you can see that, but it says February 19th, 2015. February 19th, 2015 was supposed to be my next appointment. I'm only going to show you the top part of this so you guys can see. We all know that these are the cards that you get from the clinic when you're pregnant. As you can see to the back of this card, it is not completed. This was the card for my first child. This was the card. I'm doing it like this so you guys can actually see because the lighting on this isn't so good on this camera. This is my first hard. My first pregnancy, and 2015. I was so upset, down and depressed. And I prayed to God and I was like, Lord, why? But you know all things, and you I truly wanted a kid. Yes, I know I didn't take care of my body the right way that I was supposed to. And I was upset, you know. And it was me at one point blaming my employees, saying, you're the reason I lose my baby. Working on this job late at night. Why should a woman be working late at night? When I used to have early shifts where I used to be getting up at 4, I gotta be the woman working late at night. Supposed to have a man working that shift. And I was upset. I was said, you supposed to have a man working that shift. And I had to stay home from work, not knowing he wasn't even paying my national insurance. So when I lost my baby, I didn't even get nothing from national insurance. Because he ain't had my national insurance up to date. I didn't even know if he ever paid that. So it was a moment in my life where I was so upset. I was so upset. And I was in LDI at the time. And that wasn't like a job. So I was like doing LDI and working to Dan was so at the same time. And LDI wasn't like a job. It was like a school, a leadership development program school, preparing you to get involved or to work with Bahama when they would have opened. So all I had was Dan store. And even though I would have previously worked places before, but because I was currently on a job and the national insurance wasn't up to date, I didn't claim. For some reason, I couldn't claim. Yeah, I couldn't claim. They say it ain't up to date. He'll have to pay it. I went there and tell him it never happened. So I stopped working there. I stopped working there. I did. I stopped working there after a while. And then I was just working with Bahama after we finished leadership development program. They gave us a job with Bahama Hobby Horse company. It was like a second-hand company that worked along with Bahama. So after we came out of the LDI leadership development program, it was that that job thing there that you would work, and I was working that, you know. And even though I was still upset over the loss of my child that I never got to know, to experience, but I trust God, you know. There was at one point when my child father told me, his brother told him that I killed the baby. Make it make sense. I was like, really? Why would I do that? To put myself through all the bleeding and pain. Why would I do that? Kill the baby. What reason would I have to kill my seed, my child? Your seed, but my child. I don't have any kids. I didn't have any kids. Never was pregnant before until then. So what would be the reason? And it's not like I was young. I was in my 20s when I had my first child. I mean, not when I had because I didn't have the first one yet. But I was in my 20s when I got pregnant the first time. And I did my best to stay off of it, to keep my mind off of it. But my mind was on having a kid as I tried to keep my mind off the lost. Every time me and my child father would make love, I really wanted a kid. Every time we would make love, I wouldn't let him come off of me. If it was the time that whenever he would make love, and he felt as if he was ready to let out his milk, I wouldn't let him come off of me. I'd hold him tight on top of me all the time. so that we could have a baby. Again, I wasn't trying to wait, you know, so that we could have a baby again. Because I really wanted a kid. And then I just take my mind off of it. I had a miscarriage in February. I think about February 5th. That's when I did the DNC. I think it was February 5th or February 1st. Around then. And as I was working at Bahama, I used to do housekeeping in the SLS. So I go to work every day. Lifting buckets, cleaning down these dusty rooms with cement floors, these bathrooms with the Chinese them using, leaving all kind of stool mess, gas in the toilet in the hotel, and all kind of stinky mess in these rooms and stuff. Jeez, and the bathrooms smell so bad. You can imagine, the hotel, a brand new hotel supposed to be from construction site. All these couple thousand construction workers just using the hotel bathroom, cleaning after them, and they so nasty. Oh my goodness. From hawk on the floor this way the next way. Oh my goodness. It was horrible. Cleaning stooly toilets. Yes, we know that's what you do in housekeeping, but gee, guess was in the hotel. That's the old nasty workers. Doing all the hard work. And it was in July of 2015. So I lost my baby, my first child in February 5th, I believe, 2015. And it was July something when Bahama became bankruptcy. So they made everyone redundant. We lose our job from Bahama. And in July 2015, mind you, I couldn't claim national insurance. In February, when I lost my baby, because the employer I was working for, Donald store, didn't pay my national insurance up to date. So after I stopped working with them in February, and I was working with Bahama, mind you, I had other jobs before that, but because my current job didn't have my contribution up to date, I couldn't claim on their behalf. So seeing that now that I was working with Bahama and we became redundant, they give us letters that we could have carried the national insurance. I took my letter to national insurance, and I was successful to get unemployment benefits. It was July 2015 that we would have been made redundant. I don't know if it was late July. It wasn't until August 2015 when I would have didn't see my period, mind you. Mind you, I give God all the thanks in the same year. In the same year that I couldn't have claimed national insurance because my employer that I was working with didn't have my contribution up to date when I lost my child that first time. And I was very depressed over it. Like, Lord, why? But all things, kept it to myself. Couldn't claim. So now in July 2015, we were made redundant. We got a letter from Bahama that we could have taken to national insurance to claim for unemployment. I put that through, and it was successful that I could have claimed unemployment. Can I submit to you that it was at the end of August 2015, I missed my period, August 31st. Nothing happened. So I didn't want to be so excited. It was the 1st of September 2015. I was so excited. I bought a pregnancy test and I bought first response because I want to make sure this is accurate. I took that test, and when I saw those 2 lines came on that pregnancy test, I was so thankful. Excuse me. I was ever so thankful when I saw those 2 lines in the year of 2015. I lost my first child. February 2015, and in the same year, I couldn't even receive sick benefit after losing my child, huh? But the God that I serve, do you know that whatever the devil meant for bad, that God will indeed turn it around for your good? That's why I trust him. You may be like, oh, well, you had a miscarriage and so what, move on. You don't know what the mothers go through or people go through having a miscarriage. You know, some people have miscarriage and don't even have an opportunity to have a kid again. But let me tell you all the God that I serve, because I trust him so much. And I wasn't giving up. I said, Lord, you gotta do this for me. You did it for me then. And I lost it. I said, Lord, I'm trusting you. You want to do it again? Because I was ready. On September 1st, when I took the first response, came back 2 lines. They wasn't them at all. 2 solid pink lines. Just to be on the safe side, I took that one and I did underneath the bathroom cabinet. And I said, you know what, I gotta get the next one to make sure. So I go to the next test and I took that 2 lines. I was ever so thankful and happy. So one day I decided I kept the test and I hide it. And when my child father came home one day, because mind you, I was unemployed for the second time after losing my first kid after I left the job. Because I lost my first kid in February of that year. I was unemployed. So I was home. So when my son father, I'm saying son fathers now because we have a kid. When my son father, we had no kids yet, came home, I had the pregnancy test underneath the pillow. When he get in the room, I don't even know how I show him it. I don't even know if I say look underneath the pillow, but I don't know. I may have gotten it, and I think I might have said him close his eyes. And I show him the stick. I said, I'm pregnant. I said, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Again. I said, now you don't tell anybody I'm pregnant. I said, I don't want nobody to know I'm pregnant. I said, when I get 3 months or further, I might decide to tell somebody. I said, but don't tell nobody. When my belly starts showing, that's when they can see. I took care of myself that time, and the Lord made sure that I took care of myself. I wasn't working. I was home the entire pregnancy. I was getting an unemployment benefit, being home for the full time, getting my unemployment benefit. When my unemployment listened to me, I wasn't working, I was home, and pregnant. Who was getting unemployment benefit? The job was paying us. When they made us redundant, I think they paid us every 2 weeks. They paid us our salary for about, I think up until October. From July to October, we got our full salary, right? Every 2 weeks, we got our full salary from July to October. And then we could have filed for unemployment. So listen to this, pregnancy is basically 10 months. I was pregnant. I found I was pregnant at the end of August 2015. We got paid from July to October. July to the end of October. Full salary every 2 weeks, the money been coming to the bank. And then after they stopped paying us, I think either until the end of October or the end of November, that money was still coming every 2 weeks. And I'm home, pregnant. Anybody don't know. Nobody's come to my house. I don't expect nobody to come to me. I don't keep company. After that money will stop coming, then we could have taken our letters to national insurance to get unemployment. But through to get my unemployment, that was successful. I was going to the clinic. as usual. Going to the clinic the first time, I know those tests that I took 2 pregnancy tests, and they came back. When I went to the clinic, they let me pee on the thing and I already know it come through, and they're seeing that come through in the clinic, those 2 lines. Again, I was ever so thankful and so happy. I give God all the praise. Won't he do it for you once you trust him? In the same year the devil tried to take my baby from me, my child from me. In the same year the devil tried to steal my job, was in the same year the Lord blessed me. Blessed me. I was working while I was pregnant the first time on a job. The second time I got pregnant, I was home relaxing, receiving my salary from my job up until November. Every 2 weeks up until November of 2015. After I found out I was pregnant at the end of August, which means I would have been 2 months when I go into the clinic and I do that test. The end of August, 1st of September, I took test, came back. When I went to the clinic, took it. You see, 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So I was 2 months pregnant. Come the end of August 2015, after losing my first child in February of 2015, the same year that I sorrowed was the same year that the Lord allowed me to rejoice again. Won't he do it? The Lord give it and he take it away. But it don't matter what you may be going through, God is able to do it. Once you trust him, he'll put that light shine on your face. And I didn't tell nobody. I was so excited. Going to the clinic as usual. Going to my appointments as usual. Stayed home, relaxed, watched TV. I was a lazy pregnant one. After the check stopped coming from my job in November of 2015, applied for unemployment. That was successful. Got my unemployment straight through. After my unemployment benefit finished, the lady that's unemployed and home, after I had my baby, I filed for maternity because I had contribution from previous jobs, but only couldn't get national insurance because I was on a job and they didn't have my contribution up to date. But anyways, I have to get my unemployment benefit while being on pregnant. And it was time for me to file for maternity because it was then in the year 2016 that I conceived. My son was 8 pounds, 10.5 ounces, and I pushed him out of my vagina. I took an hour and a half pushing before he came out. It was 10 o'clock when I reached 10 centimeters. And by 11:25, my little boy was out. I applied for national insurance. I got my live birth and I got my full 13 weeks. Unemployment benefit I got, hold on. Payments every 2 weeks for my job after we became redundant in July of 2015. Payment for my job from July to November. Unemployment benefits from November until the 13 weeks. Right? So that's 3, 6, 9. God ain't gonna just give you double for your trouble. He can give you triple for your trouble. So while I've been home, I've been getting unemployed. I've been getting money from the job when the job stopped. And getting unemployment when the unemployment stopped. The maternity, not just a live birth, but I got that full maternity payment. And I got that in a lump sum. Because when I applied, there's so much things was going on with that system. I didn't get my money right away. But when I got the money, I got that in a lump sum. Got a live birth and the full 13 weeks, or how much ever weeks it was in one. That was some good money. So, can I submit to you that it don't matter what you are going through, our God is able to do it. He'll turn that nay around into yea. And this here was my first pregnancy card to the clinic that I had a miscarriage. This here, if you look at this, when you see 2 appointments, because this was a miscarriage card, this didn't went all the way through. When you look here, this card is completed. This card here is completed. This card here is completed. I had my son. Won't he do it for you? In the same year, I had a miscarriage. It's the same year that God allowed me to conceive again. And I did it full term. I went the full 40 weeks. The full 40 weeks. I went the full 40 weeks and a day over. 1 day over. And I give God thanks. I had a healthy, bouncing baby boy. That was 8 pounds, 10.5 ounces. When his dad found out I was having a boy, he was ever so happy. When I say it's time for me to name this kid, name my kid, he said, name? He having my name. I said, okay, then he got my full name. I'll just think of a middle name. He said, you think of a middle name? He got my first name, my middle name, and my last name. So said, so done. So I shared a story with you. You may have had a miscarriage. You may not have had a baby after your miscarriage. Can I submit to you that God is able to do it? You just got to trust Him. You just got to put God to the test. Not just Him putting you to the test. You got to put God to the test. His word will not return unto you void, but He also said that it is impossible to please Him without faith. If you don't know what God is capable of doing, then you wouldn't be able to receive what He is capable of giving you. His word decree and declare that ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and indeed the door shall be open. But His word also decree and declare that he that cometh to God must come and believe in that He is, and that He is a reward of them that diligently seek Him. And I went to God because I said, Lord, I know I'm a reward of them that diligently seek you. And Lord, I'm gonna need you to make this happen. In the same year I had a miscarriage, which was the same year I conceived. Confirmation of my pregnancy that went straight through. This here is the card of my miscarriage. Only 2 appointments stayed on this. This is the completion of my pregnancy with my son. I'm not showing the front because all of my personal information as to where I live and so forth is on it. But hey, if you live in a 242, you know what this is. A prenatal card. Yes. So I say that to say this. Whatever you may be going through, that miscarriage that you may have, and you may not have conceived yet after that, keep trusting in God because He did it for me and He will indeed do it for you. You just gotta trust Him. There's so many people, and you don't tell people when you get pregnant, don't tell nobody in your early stage. When your bump begins to show, they'll see. Sometimes you can't tell the enemy things because the enemy looking to pray against whatever it is. But can I submit to you, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. It is indeed 2021. And I pray a prosperous the rest of 2021 over your life. If you are a mother ready to conceive, I pray the precious blood of Jesus over your womb right now, that the Lord indeed do it for you. I plead the anointing of God over your womb right now, that the Lord do it for you. That the Lord bless you in abundance. Bless you in abundance. Bless you in abundance. And I come against miscarriage in the name of Jesus, that you will have no more miscarriage. Yes, I had a miscarriage. I did. But at the end of that miscarriage, I had me a bouncing, beautiful, handsome baby boy. Handsome baby boy. A handsome baby boy. Yep, so thanks everyone for tuning in. This may have been a long clip, but I just wanted you to know a little about my journey in that miscarriage stage. If you are new here to Nita's channel, I ask that you like, share, comment, subscribe. Let's talk. Let's grow this channel together. It may be small now, but it's going to be a big channel one day. And as I bring myself to you, I want you to know that everything here is all facts, fun, my lifestyle, and adventure, and biblical stuff. That the God that did it for me is the same God that's going to do it for you. You just got to trust and believe that God is able to do these things. And we got to trust God together. So once again, thank you for tuning in to Nita's channel. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of September 2021. Bye-bye, everyone.